welcome to episode 12 of my Crochet and Knitting Podcast. So I do apologise, it's been a month. I usually get my podcasts out every 2 weeks. It's been a month, so I do apologise. But you have been getting the weekly craft and vlogs, so there's that. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sam and I live in Norwich in the east of England. And this is my channel where I share anything crafty, crochet or knitting related. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. So I wanted to say a big thank you to any new subscribers and for those subscribers who have stuck with me, because I am now at 1,000 subscribers. It's something that I didn't expect to happen. I don't know why, but yeah, thank you so much for those who have subscribed. So anyway, this is my podcast and I follow a typical format where I share what I've been up to, any finished items, any works in progress, also known as WIPs, any new purchases and plans with those purchases, and also any upcoming plans and events that's craft related. So it's been a month. What have I been up to? So it was about 3 weeks ago, I want to say, I went to the Woolay retreat run by Lay Family Yarn, Kelly and Nick, and now Megan. And I had such an amazing time. I went with my friend Ellie. I have done a vlog on that weekend, so if you haven't watched it already, I will link it down below. But I had such an amazing time. So the whole weekend was one big knit and natter, and yeah, it was great. Kelly was such an amazing host. She made sure that we kept fed, watered, and most importantly, had an amazing time. And then there's Nick. He helped us choose our colours for dyeing our own yarn, and I will show you what I dyed up. So I would have shown this in my Woolay retreat vlog, but if you haven't watched it, I will show you. So this was my inspiration picture. It's a nebula, so it's got all the purples, like the, you know, speckles in there, and this is the one that I went for. And this is the colour I dyed up. So as you can see, there's all the purples in there, and then there's the odd black speckling as well. You can see here. So I thought that was, you know, quite a good match really. You've got some of the whites in there from the lighter colours, and yeah, the black speckles and purples. I'd never dyed yarn before, but I was pretty impressed with my first attempt. I like this bit here where you can see the dark purples, the lighter purples, and then yeah, you've got the black speckles in there too. So as well as getting our own skein of yarn, we got a mini from each of the participants. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to use this for, but it's a great memory, you know. I can look at each of these colours and know exactly who dyed them, and yeah, it's just a great memory. I got on well with all of the ladies, and I very much want to go back next year. It would be perfect if we could all go on the same day, because I know a lot of the ladies said that they'd like to go again too. I'll most definitely be keeping an eye out for dates for next year. So that was the Woolay retreat. I have also attended a few crafty meetups, one of them being Barbara's Day Out. So that is basically a knit and natter that my friend Ellie runs every month. So go over to her website, crafthousemagik.co.uk. I will link it down below. But yeah, I really enjoyed myself. It's only the second time I've been to one of these events. They are run monthly, and she has all the dates on her website. So apart from work, I have been attending my craft group that I run with my friend Ellie, and that's on a Tuesday at the Bull Pub in Helsden. So it's from 7:30 in the evening until late. And when I say late, it's normally about 10:30, 11. So if you're local to the area, you're more than welcome to attend. Just pop us a message and we'll let you know where we'll be. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. Now on to finished objects, which I don't have. I know it's been a month, but I'm a very slow knitter and crocheter, but it's a craft that you should enjoy, not rush. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real over here. So that leads on to work in progress. That I do have quite a few, and a few new cast-ons, so I'll show you now. So I'll start with one of the WIPs that you are familiar with. So that's living in my redesigned Project 9 bag, and it's the Tolster tee. So I've joined my very last ball that I have. I really do hope it's enough. It is a bit creased from being in my bag, but this is the progress. So I am getting there with the length. I haven't tried it on or anything, so I hope it fits. You can't exactly see the whole length from where I'm sitting. So the length when I'm sitting down is currently just below my belly button. So I think I've only got a little bit to do, then I'll move on to the ribbing. And then because it's going to be a short sleeve top, I've only got a little bit to do for the sleeves. So I'd say I'm nearly there if I pull my finger out. So the Tolster tee, it's a pattern by Rebecca Clow of the Crayabaya, and I am using Drops Baby Merino, which I got from a Yarn D stash. So yeah, this is in the colour, I think Petrol, and yeah, I absolutely love this colour. I have got a few like qualms with this, I think that's the word, but every time I join a ball I get a little bit of a hole, but I haven't sort of gone in to tie them up at the back or anything like that, so I hope it fixes itself when I come to do that part. So yeah, it's just a basic raglan t-shirt, and I have really enjoyed the process of this knit. As I said before, I am a very slow knitter, but this is a 4-ply yarn, and if you can see, the stitches are very small. So yeah, it has taken me, I don't know, a fair couple of months or so. I know some of you knitters out there will be like, oh, this will take me a week. Not me. It's a process that I enjoy at the end of the day, so I'm not going to rush it. I know we are getting into warmer weather, so I would like to wear it, but I'm just enjoying the process at the moment, to be honest. I am very tempted to cast on another Tolster tee, but in DK, just to see how much quicker it works up, because I know it most definitely will work up quicker. But anyway, that is the progress of the Tolster tee. The next work in progress I want to speak about, the next work in progress I want to talk about is the Minecraft blanket. So this is a blanket I'm making for my 5-year-old son, and he has chosen out the colours for this. I'll move over to the side so I can put an inspiration picture here. So he's chosen 2 types of green and just a black, because black is black. So I have finished all of the green colours, and I've very nearly finished with the black. So I think I've just counted the black, and I think I counted 16. Hang on. Yeah, 16. So I need 20 of the black squares. So I only have 4 more to do, and then it's, well, it's not finished. And then it's just the case of joining them all together. So in the dark green, I have 28. In the light green, I have 16. And in the black, I need 20, but I have 16. So as I said, 4 more to do on the black squares, and then I can join them together. So I think my little boy is going to be really happy when I start joining these up. But it's not exactly blanket weather, so it is something that I can just do as and when. So I do have a tutorial on my YouTube channel of how to make one of these squares. So if you want to join along with me and make your own Minecraft blanket, you can. But I do know one of my other viewers is making a Minecraft blanket as well. So yeah, I'd love to see the progress of your blanket. So the yarn brand that I'm using is Yarn Smith's Create DK. And yeah, it's really nice to work with, and it does feel very soft. As I said before, I really like to use acrylic for blankets and any children's or baby wear for that matter, because it's easy to wash. So yeah, I'm using this yarn, and I think I overestimated when I purchased them, because I have 2 balls of the dark green left and 1 ball of the light green. I do have 2 balls of this untouched, and I've only got 4 squares to make, so yeah, I think I overestimated on that. So I'll have to find a project to try and use these balls up. I'm thinking maybe once I finish this to move on to like maybe a crocheted Minecraft jumper, because that will work, you know, we'll see. But yeah, this is my leftover yarn, so yeah, we will see, but I could potentially use that in a jumper. So they were the whips that you are familiar with. Now to move on to whips that are kind of new cast-ons. So my next one is living in this little grey girl project bag, and I really love the fabric on this. I purchased this from the East Anglian Yarn Festival. Again, this is a little bit creased because it's been crumpled up in the project bag, but I am working on a litmus cowl. So the litmus cowl is a pattern by Jude Harper, and it's a free pattern and a very easy knit, if I'm honest. If you watched my Willow retreat vlog, you would have seen that this was the only project I worked on that whole weekend. And yeah, I absolutely love these colours, as you know, and I really love the yarn. So this yarn is Yarn Smith's Merino DK. They did have an offer on when I purchased it, but I think at the moment it's £5 per 50-gram ball. However, I think they have like a bulk buy deal where if you buy more than sort of like, I don't know, if you buy a certain quantity of yarn, it brings the ball prices down. So if you're comparing this to hand-dyed merino yarn, this is very cost effective. And the reason I purchased this yarn as opposed to hand-dyed yarn, because hand-dyed yarn in litmus cowls look absolutely amazing. But the reason I purchased this was because I wanted solid colours. And in hand-dyed yarn, I don't know, it's almost like a semi-solid. I think you've got to be quite good at dyeing yarn to get a proper solid colour. But because this is commercial yarn, it's not hand-dyed, so you can get that proper solid colour. So anyway, I think I cast on about 90 stitches for this litmus cowl. The original pattern is written in 4-ply, but it's not far off, I want to say, to the original pattern, although this is in DK. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the width of this. And for each stripe, I'm doing approximately 10 rows or thereabouts. There are the odd row, I don't even think you can notice, but there is the odd row with maybe 11 or 12 because I've completely forgotten where I'm at. But anyway, nice easy knitting is literally knitting in the round. So all the colours you can see here are the colours that I'm using in the litmus cowl. So I'm literally at the point now where I go back to this colour. So it's a really nice sort of light aqua colour, and then it goes sort of, you know, oh. Yeah, so light aqua colour, and then it fades into like a darker teal, and then I go on to a light blue, and then it works into a darker blue. So yeah, you got the teals, the blues. I really, really like these colours. So yeah, this is what the yarn looks like. It's on Wool Warehouse, so it's Yarn Smiths, which I believe is their brand. They do so many other types of yarn. They do merino sock, which is in 100 grams, and it's basically like a 4-ply, but a more cost-effective way of getting a merino yarn. I've mentioned this before because hand-dyed yarn is quite expensive, but yeah, this is just a more cost-effective way of buying a merino yarn. And I think I remember doing a squish test where I had a hand-dyed yarn and this yarn, and they pretty much felt identical. I mean, it does say 100% merino wool, so you would have thought it would feel the same, being the same fibre. So yeah, 7 different colours in this litmus cowl, and I'm using a black as a contrast. So I had originally bought an anthracite grey as a contrast colour. Now, you will remember if you've watched my previous videos that it looked like a brown colour. Now, I'm so happy that I sent it back and exchanged it for this black, because this just works so much better. Yeah, I don't think I would have been happy if I would have kept that anthracite grey colour, or brown. So anyway, that is another work in progress and a new cast on. My next work in progress, which is also a new cast on, is this baby blanket. So it's curling down a bit. It's going to be quite hard to show you, but I'll show you one of the edges. So yeah, this is what it's working up like. So this is a pattern that I've completely made up myself, but a little disclaimer, I am copying a Mamas and Papas blanket. So I'll move over to the side and put it up in the corner here. So yeah, I'm trying to get the same effect where they've got the ribbing at the bottom and they've almost got like a ribbed double knit band on the side. And then they've got a section of stockinette and then a section of garter stitch. Now, if you see here, you can see that I messed up a little bit. So I had forgotten myself and I'd started to do stockinette stitch when I needed to do garter stitch. So yeah, this whole section here in the pink should be garter stitch, but yeah, it's for a baby blanket and they're not going to care. So I'm now at the point doing the stockinette stitch in the white, and then once I've got about, well, how much is that? It's about maybe a couple of inches. When this is a couple of inches, I will then move on to the next colour. So I'm really happy with how that's working up, and I really like the length of this as well. I think that would make a really nice baby blanket. So I'm actually making that for my niece or nephew who's due in the summer. So the yarn I'm using is, again, Yarn Smith's Merino DK. So this is the white colour, and I've got all of these colours. So as you've seen, I've used the pink, and then I've got a blue, a green, a yellow, like a mustardy colour, and then there's also a purple in there as well. So yeah, I've gone for like a bit of a baby rainbow sort of effect. So the only thing I'm not enjoying too much on this is when I'm at the stockinette section, because it's worked flat, I knit one row and then I purl the next. So yeah, I've come to realise that I'm not a big fan of purls. I'd rather be knitting in the round, just knit, 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 knit. But anyway, that is the progress. And I have also put a little needle stitch marker here, just because this part of the section is when it changes. So I thought I'd put that in there rather than sort of counting stitches, that sort of thing, and to know when I'm at the point where I need to work the pattern a little bit differently. But this stitch marker I made myself. So yeah, I will be talking more about that later on in the podcast, but yeah, I just wanted to show that being put to use. I've got another one on the other side as well. So I'm in no rush to get this done. I don't think the baby's due until the end of August, so I've got plenty of time to work on this. So as I said, that is a pattern that I've completely made up. And once I've finished it, I'd be more than happy to share that pattern with you guys. I might try and put that up as a digital download somewhere where you can download it for free, possibly Ravelry. I'll have to look into it to see how that works. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys. So my next and last work in progress is this. So I do apologise. I don't think I can show it to you very well because these parts are curling up a little bit. It's not been blocked or anything because I'm still working on it, but this is a pattern that I'm designing for Ellie. So she has an advent calendar sort of in the theme of dragons, and I am designing a shawl, a crochet shawl, to go alongside that advent. So yeah, these are not the colours, so don't worry, no spoilers here. She has dyed up a set of 12 20 gram minis in sort of like these nice blue colours. So the 12 20 gram minis are supposed to give me the same effect as 24 10 gram minis, because the pattern needs to work for, you know, that type of yarn advent calendar as well. So yeah, I've used the first colour, I've used the second colour, the third colour, and I'm now on the fourth colour. So you can see how it's basically starting at a point and then going larger. So I've designed it to look a little bit like a dragon wing. So if I show you like this and hold it, you can see how these parts become like a point. So I started the pattern here and worked it into like a solid section. And then I played around a bit with these eyelets. You can see here where the holes are. And then I thought, okay, I'll continue that on into the pattern. So I done another section with, you know, just one eyelet. And then I moved on to do two. So yeah, you've got two sections with one eyelet. And then you've got two sections with two eyelets. And then you've got another two sections with three eyelets, and so on. So this section has 4, and then there's 5. And that's currently where I am. So I just thought that'd give it a little bit of interest. That's the whole fun with patterns. You can design them however you want, can't you? I mean, in the pattern, you don't have to include these at all, and you can just simply just you know, keep with the one eyelet if that's what you wanted. But yeah, it's very easily adaptable, to be honest. So yeah, I'll probably wrap around a few times maybe. But yeah, I like how it's looking so far, just like that. But no, I'd need it a little bit longer just to, you know, wrap around again. So I don't use these as shawls. As I've said before, I do use these sort of designs as scarves. But yeah, I think that would look really nice actually. It's not done yet. I'm only on the 4th colour, I think, and I've got several more to go. But yeah, I've caked them all up and they're living in this little organza bag. I'll put a little clip up here actually to show you all of the lovely colours. Yeah, as I said before, this is not a spoiler. These are just random colours that she's dyed up for me to do a prototype with. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea to include like a crochet pattern design in the advent calendar as well, because you see a lot of advent calendars and they'd maybe sort of include knitted patterns, but not everyone knits, you know, you're kind of ignoring the crocheters out there. So yeah, I'm creating a crochet pattern for the crocheters out there to have something to do if they want to follow this pattern for their advent calendar. So they were my works in progress. Now for any purchases and plans with those purchases. So this is a new purchase. I showed this on my weekly craft and vlog and I absolutely love this mug. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's got mushrooms on there, some floral designs, moths. I love it. I'm currently drinking a chai latte. And to match that mug, I purchased a tote bag as well. So I would have shown this on my craft and vlog, but if you don't watch that, I'll show it to you anyway. So yeah, I purchased a tote bag to match. So all of the exact same elements as on the mug is on this tote bag. So I thought this would be really good as a project bag because I often use tote bags as project bags as well. But yeah, absolutely loved it. And it was a bargain at like £6.95 or something like that. But yeah. So going along the same lines as the project bag, I purchased another one. So this is a proper project bag. So this bag is by Coffee and Yarn Cakes. I only discovered them a few weeks ago when I was at Craft Group and I saw that someone else had this project bag, and yeah, I had to have one myself because I loved the fabric. It's got skulls on there, like in the centre of the flowers. And yeah, look at this little sort of key ring. Oh, actually, looks like a progress keeper just attached to the zip. But yeah, I won't use it as a progress keeper. It's a little bit large. But yeah, I absolutely loved that. And it's a really nice size. And it was in the sale. I did look the other day and they don't have this one available anymore. So, but they do have lots of other designs if you want to go check that out. They have a little bit of a sale going at the moment. And I think I want to say I paid about £20 for this bag. And I think it was in the large size. So yeah, you know, bigger than my head. So nice size. And it's got a nice handle as well. So my next purchase, you would have seen in my weekly craft and vlog. I went to a new yarn shop that's opened up in Grantham. That's called the Wool Haven. And I purchased some really nice yarn. So I did show them in some detail on my craft and vlog. However, I will show you again now. But these were the colours that I chose. Aren't they gorgeous? So I'm hoping to use these in the same project. They are all DK weight and they are by Knit Pro Symphony. It says Viva. I'm not sure if that's like the range, but this is the brand, Knit Pro Symphony. And yeah, as I said, DK, it's 100% superwash merino. So that gives you 220 meters per 100 grams. So this one here is in the colour Peacock Blue. And yeah, it's a really nice, it's a solid colour. Although when you look at it, it looks like there's like different colours running through it, but of the same shade. And then the next one in the same brand is the colourway Twilight Blue. So again, just a really nice deep navy blue. And then this colour here is in the colourway Java Plum. So a really, just a really nice deep purple. So my plan for these were to use them in the same project and potentially a granny triangle scarf. So I previously made one with 3 skeins of DK before. 2 of the skeins were in Malabrigo, and then one of the other skeins was in a hand-dyed yarn by Ellie, Craft House Magic. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking of doing that, but in these colours, because I'm wanting something a little bit more like moody colours, but with the same softness, because this is 100% merino wool and my other one was made in exactly the same fibre. So yeah, I kind of wanted to recreate that, but in sort of slightly moody colours. So now I come on to my last purchase, which I did hold off on my Woolay retreat vlog because I didn't want to give too much away. I do find that doing vlogs and the weekly crafting vlogs, I kind of give spoilers really, and then when it comes to the podcast, I'm kind of showing it to you again, but it's more of a chatty sort of video. I don't know, let me know what you think. Do you enjoy the weekly craft vlogs as well as the podcasts, or do you just watch the podcasts? But anyway, I'll get into these purchases. So I'll show you first of all what I purchased when I was at the Woolay retreat. So Lay Family Yarns is based at the Moores Craft Centre in Jackfield, which is sort of just outside of Ironbridge. We had a look around some of the other craft shops and I come across this one. So the artist is called Amanda Hillier, and I purchased this notebook. I thought that was beautiful. Yeah, foxgloves, dragonflies, butterflies. I love all of them. My foxgloves are currently dying. Well, no, they've still got a little bit of life in them, but some of the petals are just falling off. But anyway, I love foxgloves. I love dragonflies and butterflies. So this was just perfect. They did have some other notebooks that I was quite tempted to buy, but I just thought, no, I'll just buy the one because I'm not going to get through this really quickly. And yeah, and then the back is just another sort of simple design. But yeah, really, really liked that. So that was the only purchase that I got in that craft centre. But the main purchases and damage was done at the Lay Family Yarns shop. It's not entirely full. I think it comes up to here. Okay, so I spent a fair bit at Lay Family Yarn, mainly because I didn't have any of their yarn, and when I was in the shop, yeah, a lot of the colours jumped out at me and into my bag. But anyway, I will show you some skeins of yarn that I purchased just because, and I couldn't leave without it, and this is the first one. So the colours are blowing out quite a bit actually. The sun is shining quite a bit, so yeah, it is blowing out this colour a lot. It looks better in real life than on camera. Anyway, I'll get on to the yarns. So this is in the colourway Rainbow Drops. So yeah, this is on a natural base and it's got speckles of all the colours. I love that. I think I've got a skein yarn very similar to this, but I mean, I couldn't leave without it. I think I'd previously seen this on one of their sort of like Instagram posts and it's always been sold out. So when I saw it, I was like, I have to have that. So yeah, that came home with me and I purchased it. So the yarn base is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's a 4-ply yarn. So I only purchased one skein of this, but I do have several patterns in my Ravelry that only require one skein of 4-ply. So I knew that if I got one skein of 4-ply, I could use it in a project, because I think a lot of people out there, when they buy yarn, if they buy single skeins, they're like, oh, well, now what do I do with it? But there are several patterns out there that only require one skein of 4-ply. So yeah, I purchased that because the colours were beautiful. No plans, can I add? I just purchased it to a stash enhancement, you know? And when the time comes and the right pattern comes along, that will get worked on. And then next, another one that just jumped out at me was this one. So yeah, this is in the colourway Love at First Bite. So yeah, this one has greys running through there and then some red bits. black and red speckles. So yeah, I just saw this and thought that looked lovely, and I could easily pair that with something else to go into a shawl, like a two skein shawl. But yeah, really, really like that. And it's in the same sock makeup, merino nylon. Next one is another single skein, which I have no plans for, but I saw this and I was instantly like, wow. And if you're a regular viewer for a while, you know that this is my colour. Oh, it's just beautiful. I mean, yeah, what can I say? It's also on a really nice base. So the colourway is called Kingfisher and it's on a yak sock base. So I don't know how the camera's picking it up, but it's really nice and it's got like a sheen to it, you know? So the makeup of this is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak and 10% nylon. So I think it's the yak in there that's given that like bit of sheen to it. But yeah, I really like this colour and it had to come home with me. Again, I can pair this with another 4-ply skein and make it into a shawl, which requires 2 skeins. My next purchase, which I do have a plan for, were these 2 skeins. So yeah, don't they look lovely together? So this one here is in the yak sock base. So again, 70% superwash merino, 20% yak and 10% nylon. And this is in the colourway Rebel. So it's a really nice, like a deep pinky purple, and I paired it with this one. So this one is called Sweet Pea Fire and Ice and it's on slightly different base. So I did purchase this because it was sitting next to the Kingfisher colourway and they just both had that nice silky sort of sheen to it. And yeah, anyway, I wanted this colour as well and I went to the other section with the different bases and paired these together. So this one here is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So yeah, this is 425 meters per 100 grams. And well, look at the colours. Looks a bit like a purpley raspberry ripple. Yeah, and pairing it with this, I thought they just looked really, really nice together. And the project in mind is going to be right around the corner shawl, I think it is. I'll move over to the side and I'll put it here. But I thought that these 2 would go really well in that shawl because they're very much quite highly contrasting, but they go together. I had previously bought a couple of skeins of 4-ply for that shawl. However, the contrast wasn't enough. And one of my viewers, also like a YouTube friend, she said to maybe put that in a t-shirt, which I probably will. So these are going to be for that shawl. So yeah, absolutely love these colours together. And then my last purchase were these. So now I was thinking of making a knitted jumper. However, I don't think I've got enough for a jumper. These colours here with the last 3 left, and I'm normally quite an impatient person and I just want to take it off the shelf. I don't want to like die to order and wait for it. Anyway, not that I'm going to be knitting this like anytime soon. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I bought 4 skeins. So I bought this one here as like a bit of a contrast colour to maybe stripe with these. It would probably help if I talked about the yarn. So these are all DK yarn. Now this one here, so I've got 2 other skeins of these, so 3 altogether. This is in the colourway Petrol Blue, and can you see that sheen? I hope that's coming across on camera. And that is really the reason I wanted to buy these skeins of yarn to make a jumper with. So the base, wait for it, is Silky Yak DK. So it's 60% superwash merino, 20% yak and 20% silk. So yeah, it's quite a drapey sort of skein of DK yarn. But yeah, you get 200 meters per 100 grams. And as I said, I've got 4 skeins altogether. So I've only got 800 meters altogether. So I'm possibly going to have to use these in the Tolster tee as like a DK Tolster tee. So as I said, I've got 3 of these. And then I've got this one here, which is again in the same base because you can see that sheen, and it's in the colourway Midnight. So yeah, it's a really nice sort of dark charcoal colour, and I thought that would go really well with the blue as like sort of stripes. I'd have to do quite a bit of planning for this project because I don't know exactly how much striping that I'd need to do and when. But yeah, all I know is this would be the main colour and this would be just like stripes, and I don't know how thick to do the stripes either. I just knew that I wanted this in a garment to wear on my top half. So yeah, this was the last purchase. So I did do a bit of a splurge there, but it's nice to support small businesses at the end of the day. So they were all my purchases and plans, or no plans. Now to move on to any crafty events that's coming up. So I can't think of any in the immediate future, to be honest with you, which is quite sad. But anyway, I will probably go to a few more yarn shows this year. I do have 2 that I've got my eye on. So yeah, I will be mentioning them nearer the time. But another thing that I wanted to mention was I have recently set up a Ko-fi shop. So I have been really enjoying making these stitch markers. So as I said earlier on the blanket, I have used some of these stitch markers. So yeah, this is what they look like. They are knitting stitch markers, so they go on knitting needles and they will fit up to a size 5mm. Now, I've been enjoying making these and there's no way that I can use all of them. So I thought I'd open up myself a Ko-fi shop as a way to be able to sell them. I thought because this is a knitting and crochet channel, it would be quite relevant to sell these sort of things on there, and it would act as a way to support my channel in some way. So yeah, I'm really enjoying making them, and I've got several colours. These are just one of the sets, which is in pink. I think I've got 3 of these in total, but yeah, I will link it down below, so go have a look at that. I just wanted to show you another little set that I've made. So it's a little dragonfly set. So you've got a dragonfly stitch marker along with a load of blues. So this is my favourite set, to be honest. I'm very tempted to keep one for myself, but I have 3 sets of these made as well. So yeah, go check that out if you are interested in getting something like this. So that comes to the end of my podcast. And I wanted to wait right till the end until I mentioned this because not everyone watches right to the end. So as a thank you to getting to 1,000 subscribers, I wanted to do a giveaway. So I've pulled these out of my stash. So these are 2 different brands. This is by the Lowly Knitter and this one is Felt Fusion. But I thought they went really well together. So little disclaimer, one is DK, one is 4-ply. However, you can hold this double to make it as a DK weight yarn. But yeah, I thought they went really well together and I will do them as a giveaway. So if you do want to take part in the giveaway, leave me a yarn ball emoji and a rainbow and leave me a comment to let me know what the best part of a podcast is, whether that's seeing finished items, whether that's seeing work in progress, or just getting inspiration from a podcast, which is probably one of the reasons I love to watch podcasts. So yeah, leave me a comment down below if you want to be in a chance with winning this yarn, and I will pick out a winner on the next podcast. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you know exactly when I post that video. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!